Hi guys, welcome. It's Tuesday, May 23rd. I was away Thursday, Friday last week, and I took a day off yesterday as well. So I'm back in the action today, working on my new strategy, refining it, developing it. I've moved from low float momentum stocks and I've gone to higher price stocks where I'm looking to short them most of the time, but I will still go long as well. So I took a few trades today. Only traded I think three stocks: Momo, ETRM, and TTWO. Made a total profit of $1,068 after commissions. So before we go so we'll go through the trades and I'll show you how I found them later on. So the first trade I took this morning was pre-market, and it was Momo. Now, I'll show you later on how I found Momo, but let's go through the trade first. So let's bring this up. So this is the daily. So it's 10:36 in the morning so far, and my day finished just before 10 o'clock. So, sorry, that's TTWO. So Momo. Okay, so I found Momo, and like I said, we'll go through later on how I found it. But it's a very useful practice for you guys to follow as well. I found Momo, and then the first thing I did was I brought in my daily chart here. I brought it out to 10 years worth, and I drew on the major support and resistance points. Now, because this is pretty much sitting at an all-time high, there's not a lot of predefined support and resistance. You have natural support and resistance, which occur at $half marks, $three-quarter marks, and $4 marks. But you don't have, your kind of normal support and resistance where he'd say, it's at $27 because, this is where it touched 3 or 4 points. So because it's a little bit out, you have to use the kind of $half marks and so forth. So I drew those on, and it showed me that that there's a pretty good window here for Momo to be quite volatile today. Now, my initial thought was that this would be going up, hence I got in long first. So let's go through that one. So I got in here long. Now I took a really major kind of change in my approach from today onwards, which is I'm not going to be buying stocks that are surging upward. Now, for me, that is going to be a hard thing to do because I'm naturally impatient, and naturally, if I see something, I have FOMO, where I want to be in this trade. I can see it surging upwards. I want to be part of it. But I know after seeing the analysis of my trades, most of the trades I get into that don't work are because I get in too late and I'm just chasing, and I'm chasing full size. So I've decided to take a very specific approach and a very self-aware approach that I will only be buying, not only, but most of the time I'll be buying stocks on dips or on reversals where I can feel is a good entry point. So that's key for me this week, to work on better entries, because that is where predominantly I fail. I have decent exits, I have decent size, I have decent management once I'm in a position, and I can pick stocks decently well, but it's the entries that are really hurting me. So getting back to this, so I got in here on a dip, even though I was watching it from I think around about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I saw it kind of spike up. I missed this dip here. But then I said to myself, okay, if it dips again, I'll get in here. And I was looking to get in about 44.50. Now, I got in lower, which is even better. I got in at 44.20. And I held it. And what I did was, let me just have another look just to make sure that we're going through the same thing. So, oh yeah, okay. So I bought in. So the first trade, so I bought in at 44.26, right? Then I averaged up 45.73. Okay. Right. Okay. So I took initially the size of this trade was just 100 shares. As I said, I'm not going in full size. Okay, for this week, I want just want to see how that will work. So I got in here, and the plan was the plan was, now mind you, I was looking at the last 2 days, but I was also looking at the overall daily chart, which we have over here. And because we didn't have any natural, any kind of resistance, previous resistance or support at this level, I drew on these marks. So 44.50 is a natural, $0.50 resistance to support level. So I drew that on, as is $44.75. And then when I got in here at 44.20, I think it was, I wanted to give it 50 cents. So my maximum loss I wanted to have for this trade is $50. So I said to myself, okay, so to work out risk, and this is a very, very quick formula, to work out how many shares you can buy, you basically say, how much risk in dollars am I going to take? In this case, $50. And you divide that by how many cents you're risking. So I got in at 44, let's keep it simple, let's say 44.30. And I set my stop loss at, say, 43.80. That's 50 cents, right? So $50 is how much I want to lose. My stop loss is 50 cents. So 50 divided by 50 is 1, which is 100 in this case. So I took 100 shares. So 100 shares means that if it went to $43.80, I'd lose $50, which I was comfortable doing. So that was my rationale for the size. Now, in terms of my rationale for the management of the trade, when I was holding this, I was up about, when it got to about 46, just over 46, I was up about $164. And I thought to myself, okay, it's just a small position size. It's not bad. I wouldn't mind adding a little bit more to my position. Now, in hindsight, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do. But the point was, I wanted to test the theory of, if I add to a winning position, how does that change my P&L? How does that change myself and my management? Now, what I used to do is I used to average down. So let's say I got in here at 44.30, for example, right? And let's say it went down to $44. I would then buy at that lower level, thereby averaging down my average price. So if my price was $44.30, I got in here at $44. If I bought the same amount of shares, the average will be in the middle. So it'll be $44.15. So I haven't done this a lot where I've bought at a higher price, which means my average goes up. Now in this case, because I bought so high up, my average, which was $44.30, went up to like $44.95, because I think I bought in like at 46 something or thereabouts, if I'm correct. Sorry, I bought here at 45.61. Let me just have another look. So I got in here. So the average was, my first price was 44.26. Then I bought in, pretty much 80 cents above that. And then that further purchase as well. So initially I made 3 or 4 buys. The fourth one was just 50 shares. So I bought here and I averaged up, slightly averaged down. The whole point of averaging this down was because I felt pretty comfortable with the situation, with the trade. And I was pretty comfortable knowing where it would lead. And then what happened was that this was just a small $50 50 share purchase at $44.50, because my belief was it would bounce off again, and it would maybe wouldn't reach 46, but it would reach at least 45 or 45.50. So that was the overall plan. Now what happened was that by holding this position through the market entry, it quickly went down. Now I think I was down a fair bit, probably about $300 even, or $400. I'm not sure at this stage. Now the reason I didn't cut the losses so quickly on this as I normally would have done is because at the same time I was in another trade. As you can see, I also got in at ETRM whilst holding Momo. So I'll go through ETRM in a second. So going through this, I saw that this is obviously costing me a fair bit of money, and the way that it just fell so quickly at the open, to me, it showed me a lot of weakness. It showed me a lot of weakness. And I know that the results came out this morning, revenues came out this morning. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm on the wrong side of this trade, obviously. So I'm gonna switch around. So I'm gonna go from being long to being short, which is what I did. So I got in short here. at $42.87 or thereabouts. And look at it go. It just dropped like a stone. And I covered half here. So how much is that? So I got in at I got in at $43 and I covered that. That's 3 points, right? In the space of about 15 minutes. You know, that's not bad. And then I covered the remaining portion here. I covered here because I thought to myself, as it was approaching $40, if you look at the daily chart, $40 is a very psychological figure. I mean, it's a round whole number. You know, if it breaks 40, you know, it'll go down lower. And it did that. And I didn't want to, you know, wait for it to reverse on me. So that's why I locked half the profits in here. Just under that 40 break, just in case it didn't break 40. And then when it did fall below 40, I gave another 50 cents and I covered then. So really I missed out on another, say, you know, 50 cents or so. But, you know, this was a very, very good trade in terms of, you know, picking a good entry point, and also covering well. So very, very happy with that. This is where it is at the moment. It's approaching its $50. It's actually sitting, it's 50-day EMA at the moment at $41.50. So that was Momo. So the lessons from this trade are that pre-market, the trade can be going in one direction, but as soon as the market opens, you know, you have to be ready for it reversing straight away and very, very quickly, which it did in this case, and you have to adapt. Which I was happy to do, and then I did that very, very well. So that helped me make a profit of, I think, $615. ETRM was just a very, very quick couple of trades. I got in here, I think, at $5.95, expecting the break of 6 pre-market, which it did, but then it went down just a little, dropped down a little bit to $5.80. And I got out here once it broke $6 really nicely at $6.37. But I think I only sold half here. I didn't get filled with my whole position to get out, and I sold the remainder half here. And then what I did was I made a bit of a fat finger error, and rather than selling my whole position, I actually sold a little bit more than I was holding, which means I shorted. And I think I was just like 50 shares or 100 shares short. And I just covered here as well. So a bit of a fat finger mistake. In this case, it worked out well, but I've got to be conscious of the fact because this isn't the first time it's happened. So you've got to be careful when you use, say, for example, hotkeys. You know, if your hotkey is to buy 1,000 shares, and if you set your stop loss, you know, you've got to make sure that you input 1,000 shares. Normally what I do is when I move my stop loss up or down, and I've sold a little bit already, I need to make sure manually to adjust the amount of shares to sell at that stop loss figure. Otherwise, this is what happens. But anyway, that was ETR, and that was just $108. And then the last trade, TTWO, also went short. Now, this was up by a hell of a lot, and it just kept going. Where's the market open here? But even pre-market, it just kept going up and up and up. And I saw these kind of parabolic move upwards. I thought, man, this is really kind of it's overstretched, and it was like sitting at 92.8 RSI, and I thought, okay, you know, I'm going to go short here. So actually, I don't know if you can see this, but I bought here. I made a bit of a profit on its way up. I think I broke even because I didn't actually sell at the top, and then I shorted it. So I was shorting this at the same time as Momo, and I was watching both of the trades. And once again, you know, really good solid trade here. And I covered half here at $72.80 and then the remainder at $72.13. So this was just a really good day, And I shorted. That's how I made my money. Now, I've only got a minute left before my 15-minute runs out. So let's just really quickly show you how I found Momo. This was it. Don't know whether you guys use FinViz, but it's got a really kind of good, good screening here. This is what I did. I just put... show me which shares have got a lot of shorts in them. Show me anything that had that's up 5%, and show me if it's above the moving average of 200. That's it, guys. That's how I found it. That's how I found Momo. There it is. I looked at the chart. I saw that there was a lot of shorts sitting in there, maybe 36% or so, and TGTX. I didn't trade that, but this is how I found it. So that's it for today, guys. Wishing you the rest of the day to be profitable. Talk to you soon. Cheers. Bye.